I'm Susan LeBlanc, and this is Conversations with the Goodman School of Business. And my guest today is Tayler Book. Welcome, Tayler.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. Now, for those of you who live in the Niagara region, you've probably heard of Beechwood Doughnuts, and Tayler is one of the co-founders.
Yes.
And you are a Brock graduate, 2014 social sciences. And so here we are just 2 years later, and you have probably one of the most popular little donut shops in the region, really. Yeah. So how did that come about? How did you go from sociology to vegan donuts?
I'm not quite sure sometimes, but it was quite a long journey. I actually started in political science my first year. I didn't like it. I did sociology my next year, and then I concentrated in social justice and equity my third year. Yeah. So I was always kind of not 100% sure what I wanted to do. I had a lot of interests. I wasn't sure what I wanted to stick with. So that was my kind of end of the story. And then my partner, Shane, he's been a baker for a while. He was actually one of the original bakers at Rise Above, which still exists. Right. But it first started as a bakery, but it has now grown more into a restaurant. So at the time, he was probably making like 40 donuts on 1 day a week. And they just really did not have the capacity to do anything with it. So he decided, you know what, I kind of want to expand on this idea. And I was like, you know what, I have a lot of experience in the food and beverage industry on top of my degree. So I thought, you know what, let's do it. So around my third year, we started planning it. So I kind of already had the idea in my mind that I was going to be doing it by then. Right. And then once I graduated, we kind of just went full blown. And it took off. So now how many donuts a day now? On a slow day, around 800. On a busy Saturday, max 2,500.
Wow. And you've got a great brand identity. You're well known, but social media played a big role in that. You really took advantage of that. Talk to us a little bit about how you utilized social media to really build your brand.
Yeah, so we actually had a $0 advertising budget. So we kind of had to get creative. I was just fresh out of university. I had paid off all of my tuition just working more than full time. So we kind of had to pinch pennies where we could. And I was like, you know what, I have a really strong idea of social media marketing and what people would like to see. And I know people like personality, and they like to see people on social media. They don't want to see buy this, buy this, buy this. And I know I don't want to see that either. And I'm part of the largest demographic at our store. So I kind of played on that, made it really fun, really quirky, kind of put my own personality into it, and people just it blew up from there. It was a lot of word of mouth, people saying, oh, did you hear about this place? Did you look at this funny Facebook page? And then it kind of blew up from there. Even on day one, the response was way more than we expected.
Really? So opening day sort of more than you anticipated?
Oh, yeah. It was supposed to be a slow opening, and my partner Shane kept telling me, stop posting on social media. Like, you're not supposed to tell anyone about it. And I was like, oh, but I can't. I gotta. That's just something I really like to do. Right. So we opened up our doors. There was a huge lineup. We sold out in an hour.
Wow.
And that was when there was 3 of us. Wow. So I was like, oh, okay. What do we do?
So you started with 3, and now you were just telling me you have 12 people working for you?
12 people on any given day. We have a staff of 18, including Shane and myself.
Wow. So, and how long have you been open?
Since January 2013. No, 2014. So it's almost 2 years.
Yeah. So it's a fantastic success story. It really is.
Yeah.
And I know you, as we say, you're extremely popular, but we also know you've had some interesting visitors over the time. Probably the most exciting one was when the Prime Minister dropped by.
Yeah.
And how did that come about? Did they contact you and tell you he was going to come by? Or did you contact them and say, hey, we've got some neat donuts we want to serve up? Or how did it happen?
It was kind of wild. It was my day off, of course, how it all works
always
out.
Happens that way.
And I get a text from my assistant manager, and she tells me, I'm not sure if it's a prank, but I think Justin Trudeau's coming on Friday. And this was on Wednesday. And I just thought to myself, oh, it's got to be a prank. I don't think that's going to happen. Right. And then sure enough, I get an email later that day from somebody emailing me from Parliament basically saying, hey, Justin Trudeau's coming on Friday. Is it okay if there's cameras?
Wow.
Oh.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. And we kind of knew what we were expecting. We had Tom Mulcair come during the election last summer, but he came in the middle of the week. This was on a Friday during an already busy time. So we kind of knew it was going to be the same as Tom Mulcair, but maybe 10 times bigger, which it was probably even more than 10 times bigger.
It was crazy.
It was wild all day long. There was people outside trying to stand in the store, trying to get behind the counter, trying to get a selfie with Justin Trudeau, to the point where they tried to deflect people last minute to Mate Cafe. They said, oh, come to Mate Cafe and meet him. But the media was still piled up at Beechwood because the media wasn't going to Mate. Wow. So it was still pretty...
Wow. And so did he have any donuts?
He did. He got 6. He asked for the best ones. The rumor is he got all cinnamon sugar, which is a lie. He ended up getting Martina's favorite donuts because Martina was the one that boxed them that day. He didn't get a cinnamon sugar, but he asked for them, but she didn't realize he did because there was too many people screaming.
Wow. So that's. Do you know how he found out about your place? Was it through social media? How did? Any idea how?
I'm not quite sure. I'm assuming it might have been through Chris Biddle, the local MP. That's my assumption because Chris did come in and visit with Justin. So that's my assumption. I'm not 100% sure, but
so just 2 days in advance, the Prime Minister's coming. Wow.
Yeah, I had no idea he was coming in at the time because I was actually facing the opposite direction, and people were just screaming all day, so I really didn't... There was no difference to me.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, somebody shook my hand. I was shaking hands all day, and I looked up, and I'm like, oh, it's you. It's just, okay.
So you actually got to personally meet him?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow, that's fun. That's really a fun story. Now, changing gears a little bit, you're an entrepreneur, obviously. I don't think you set out to be an entrepreneur. But
no.
You are, and we have a lot of young entrepreneurs here at Brock and Goodman School of Business. Do you have any words of wisdom for them? And what would you like to say to any student entrepreneurs out there?
I would say don't get discouraged. Take it from me, actually, like starting out as an entrepreneur at 22, there's a lot of people that will not believe in you or think, you know, this young girl is going to try to open a donut shop. I was told by a lot of people in power they're going to be closed in 3 months. And
here you are later, 18 employees. And
here we are now. So I would say, don't give up unless obviously there's a reason. Yeah. If you've tried your best and you realize it's not going the way it should, maybe it is time to quit. But in the starting phases, don't give up. Put all of your effort into it. Yeah. Listen to your professors. I was lucky and kind of knew that I was going to start a business before my 4th year, so I actually took an accounting course to kind of refresh. Right. And one of the things I remember from that course is she pointed at one of the students and said, "You're opening up I think it was a baseball card store. How are you going to get funding?" And they said, "I don't know, I'm going to the bank." She laughed at him and she said, "You know what? Do you think you're going to get a loan straight out of university?" That's exactly what happened to me. We saved up as much money as we could. We went to the bank to get a credit card. And I remember getting a phone call saying, "Oh, you want a $10,000 credit card? You have to give us $10,000 in money as collateral just in case you don't pay it." And I kind of laughed, thinking we only needed the credit card because we didn't have exactly. So from there, I was like, at least I knew it was coming. I kind of thought, no, that's kind of silly. I don't even have a loan. But even without a student loan, they called. They said, "Oh, do you have a house? No. Do you have a car? No. I have a laptop." Well, you're not gonna, that's the only thing I really own, right? So at the time, they're like, I don't think so. No. So you kind of have to keep that in mind since you are young. You're going to have trouble finding funding. Get creative. There's crowdsourcing methods now.
And as you said, you had a 0 marketing budget and a lineup on opening day. And so I think that says it all if you can put your mind to it. Yeah. So what's next for Beechwood?
Well, we're gearing up for the holiday season, so our holiday flavors are coming out. By the time this podcast is out, they might already be out, so you can check those out. I think that's the only current thing that's happening. Yeah. That's kind of exciting.
You're not going into franchising or anything, not just yet.
Not anytime soon. No. We're here to stay.
Good. Well, thank you so much for coming by. It's a great story and great success, and really very proud of you for, going out and doing something that not a lot of people had a lot of faith, and you just showed them you can do it.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for dropping by, and hopefully we'll chat soon.